here in a second. All right, we're live there. Welcome, everybody. Everybody watching at home. All right, there it goes.
Been an exciting couple of weeks, though, man. Let me tell you.
Oh, bet.
They've been filming all the climb videos too, which has been pretty interesting.
Yeah, a couple episodes are out. And then tomorrow's the first scrimmage.
Yep, tomorrow's the first scrimmage in Doe Campbell.
In the morning, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it.
Is that kind of weird, morning scrimmage with all these afternoon practices?
It's a little weird. It's nice, though. It's pretty courteous, Coach Norvell prides himself in putting ourselves in like the most adverse situations possible, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, for instance, as we get to the spring game, we'll have a full padded scrimmage like the day before the spring game, just to see how players react. He doesn't necessarily want us in the best physical place. He wants us to be a little bit banged up, a little bit sore, a little bit tired, just to see how we react when we actually get out there in a game. Because those scrimmages, they simulate games, but you're not going to take as many snaps as a game, right? It's going to be like one half of a game. So it's almost like you play the whole first quarter, then you're going in to play a full game.
Yeah,
that's kind of his mindset. So it is very courteous for him to have it in the morning, especially when we had a day off today. But we worked out, we had a bunch of meetings, and got a lot of treatment in, a lot of good things. It's nice it's in the morning because you'll have the rest of your Saturday to yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. All right, how do I sound? Is my volume
good?
All right.
You sound kind of tired.
Right in. Bring your mic in front of you.
Hello.
Much better. Right in front of you.
Yeah, I'll talk into it today.
Yeah.
I usually I drift off.
Just put it in. Mine's like right in front of me, so I can't miss it. Can you yeah? That way
I'll lean over here
because it makes a big difference when you lean in.
Really?
All right. Yeah, because your voice because the mic's so sensitive, it condenses everything. And if you're not talking directly into it, that's when your voice sounds like crackly or frazzled a little bit because it's not in the mic. All right. Any shout outs at the end?
Oh yeah, we'll talk about Good Sam, Camping World, and National Truck Protection.
All right. So you're going to shout those out at the end. We'll start with the latest with Big Man, Big Heart. Fishing trip still on April?
Yes, sir. April 30th.
Sweet. All right. I don't think we had a date the last time we recorded. So
we had a date. We had to go back and forth a bunch because of turkey season here in Florida. Yeah, you don't want hunters out there while we're trying to do a kids fishing event, Can't have that.
I can only imagine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So here we go.
Give me like 10 seconds.
All right, you got it.
I'm putting the link up.
Oh, okay. You're tweeting it. Yeah, I'm getting quick with that.
Everything's good in your neck of the woods, though?
Yeah, everything's been great. A lot of things going on that once I'm able to talk about them, I'll feel a lot better. I don't like this right now, but make the most of it.
Trust me, I've been there before.
Right. Yeah, I bet you have. Yeah, knowing your future and all that is going to change. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta stay in the right headspace
and just be patient.
You gotta trust the process. You
really do. You really
uncertainty.
do.
It's uncertain times, but
you really do. One step at a time. That's all you can do.
The biggest advice I can give you though is just go all in.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
It's the only way it's the only way that's what's hard for me though, Dylan, is during in this other time, I can't go all in on anything really because so that's what I think is the weird feeling in me is unable to go all in yet.
Mm-hmm. No, I feel that.
So, all right, let's get this show on the road. Did you tweet it yet?
Yes, sir. Give me. I apologize. I have to do it from 2 Twitter accounts.
I know you do. These damn interns. We pay all these interns all this money. You think they could tweet it for us?
I don't pay them any money. They're the best. But still, at the end of the day, like I'm not going to have them, be up at 8:30 at night on a Friday. ready to post a link to a podcast.
Yeah, not everybody's as crazy as us.
No, not at all.
Anytime, any place. That's what we say about big man, big heart.
I'm having trouble right now. I just had to put in an email. Here we go. We are all good.
Yeah, I see your tweet. All right, let's do this thing. You good?
Yep.
All right, here we go. 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Big Man, Big Heart with Dillan Gibbons. I'm your host, Josh Newberg. This is episode 24. 24 episodes. We are coming live on a Friday evening. It's hard for me to remember what day it is, but it's Friday evening. We are live on YouTube right now. Shout out to you guys watching. And spring is in full swing. So, Dylan, how you feeling?
That is it's a lot of numbers are there. There's a lot of podcasts. I'm very happy to be here. I apologize for this being at Friday night, but the people that are going to be listening to this, hopefully going to be Saturday morning, maybe Monday morning if that's when you take your podcast. But it's been an incredible process. This whole spring football all started up a couple weeks ago, and team's looking great. So I look forward to getting into it with you.
All right. Yeah, we're going to talk a lot about spring practice, but first let's talk about the foundation, Big Man, Big Heart. What is the latest? I know the last time we met, the fishing date was kind of up in the air due to a turkey season. Yeah.
Turkey hunting season. So it's been difficult to plan out the event, around faith, family, football, and fishing. I prescribed the event a few times, but I do have some very interesting updates. So first, I had a conversation with the director of the FWC. Bottom line, I have the full support of the FWC. So we'll be able to have about 35, maybe even 40 officers out there. I'm very excited for this event. Again, it's going to be on April 30th. Hopefully we'll have around 60 to 70 to 80 kids from the Boys and Girls Club there, along with a lot of my teammates, some representatives of the Florida Bomb Squad and Capitol Police. It's a big event, and it's been pretty tough to plan it, but things are starting to come together. We're just about a month away and a few days, I guess, at this point. And things are definitely starting to look a lot better. Things that I thought weren't going to be able to happen are starting to happen. The event's going to include a lot of wonderful things, not only talking about conservation efforts that are here in Florida, teaching the kids how to rig a rod, how to tie baits on, what baits to use during certain times of the year, but really just diving into these kids and hopefully giving them an experience they'll never forget. An experience with an FWC officer, a man or woman with a gun on their belt and a badge on their chest, just the kind of people they are. And I'm very excited to be able to share that with those kids. And there's even going to be a live alligator at the event. So it should be quite the spectacle. It's going to be at Joe Budd Youth Conservation. It's at Joe Budd Park. It's not going to be the big lake. It's going to be a smaller lake. They have back tucked up in there. It's actually an overstocked pond. But other than the fishing event, we have some very exciting things that I'm not going to bring up this week. I'll bring up next week. Make you guys tune in around Vanderbilt and a player that I've recently signed, an initiative that's going to be announced here pretty soon. That's very close to my heart. It's going to pull at the heartstrings of Notre Dame fans, Florida State fans, Vanderbilt fans, and just generally fans of college football. It's a series of horrible events that happened to a football family. And it's going to be a GoFundMe that'll be up here pretty soon. And I hope people will consider contributing to help me share their stories.
Yeah. And as always, you guys can find any updates from Big Man Big Heart at bigmanbigheart.com. All the GoFundMe links are there, and everything that Dylan has going on with the foundation can be found on bigmanbigheart.com. All right. Well, we look forward to hearing more on that. I think it's really cool. Maybe next year you take them turkey hunting.
Maybe. It would have to be a smaller group of kids, and we'd have to find some stealthy ones.
Yeah, let's see how the fishing trip goes first. But I'm excited to hear more about that.
We'll teach them fishing.
Right.
I think that'd be more appropriate, especially for the age demographic.
Right. So, all right. Now let's get into it. What everybody's here for. Spring practice is underway. You guys made it through spring break, back to the practice field. You've held what, 2 practices since spring break concluded?
Yes, sir.
And you are on the verge of the very first scrimmage of the spring. So, just up to this point, how you feeling?
I'm feeling wonderful. Again, we laid a really good groundwork, really good base, to what we're trying to do here in spring ball, before spring break. And I really appreciate Coach Norvell, striving to get in all those practices and get 2 padded practices in before we had to leave. At the end of the day, spring break was great. I got to go back home to St. Pete, spent a few days in Duck Key and Alamorada, and then basically came back home, hung out with my family, hung out with my fiance, relaxed by the pool, didn't do anything too strenuous, but got some workouts in, some different strength conditioning type exercises. But I came back very refreshed, and I started off the week with an open mind. What my goal is for the spring is to become the most physical, the most dominant and violent individual as I can, while being the most intelligent football player on the field. So that's what I've been doing throughout this whole process, whether it's winter conditioning, meeting with the coaches extra, diving into our offense at a level I have yet to be able to dive into an offense at, or taking other guys along with me. And that's something I take a lot of pride in. So it's been a great process so far. It's extremely rewarding, especially when you start to see the benefits in those split second, reactions you have on the line of scrimmage. But to be able to see the young guys, coming along, some of the guys just got into our program, already making an impact. And as we get into this first scrimmage of spring football, that's where you start to see a separation. And I've told these guys, anytime we're on a field, anytime anything's being recorded, of course you're being graded, you're being judged. Doesn't matter what the drill is, doesn't matter if it's after a drill, just your demeanor on the sideline. All that stuff comes together. But when you get on a big stage, on Doe Campbell tomorrow morning, everybody's gonna be watching, whether it be the media, these guys. Coach always jokes,
No, we won't be there. We're closed out tomorrow.
Closed out. Wow.
Yeah.
Well, I thought you guys were going to be there because Coach was making jokes about tweeting that this guy got blown up or this guy,
no,
that's
there
one
probably
of
will
the
be recruits there.
What'd you say?
There'll probably be some big time recruits there watching the scrimmage.
Oh, maybe.
But Coach has it closed to the media. All the scrimmages will be closed to the media except for the spring game.
Yeah, I had no clue. Again, it's my first spring here at Florida State.
That's what I actually wanted to ask you about that. It is your first spring. Like people feel like you've been here forever, but you haven't even been at Florida State for a year yet.
Hey, don't tell them that, Josh.
Isn't that funny?
No, you can't remind people that. Don't put that out there.
What type of advantage do you get? I wanted to ask you, what type of advantage do you get going through a spring practice?
Oh, advantage for me personally in my football game, or just as an older player?
No, for you, like what is spring football for you? What does it provide for you?
It's extra reps, and of course I've taken a lot of reps. I've taken a lot of practice reps, and I've taken a fair amount of game reps, at this point. But it's extra live reps, good against good. For the most part, I'm honing my craft, right? Me personally, diving into my game, like I said, putting in extreme amount of hours, not only in the up here side of it, but also in the physical side, and get my body right. But I get to focus on little things, right? It's not those big picture, make or break, like this guy isn't doing it, we need him to do it before we get to a game. It's not that type of practice. It is getting better every single day, picking apart my game day in, day out, and just getting that 1% better. And not only getting that 1% better, but for me personally, I have to earn the ability to get that 1% better. And I'm taking things extremely seriously. It's make or break, but it's nice to have this time period where things aren't necessarily as make or break as in the season,
Right.
Also, I get to bring other guys along with me. In a practice during season, I don't really get to coach guys as much, right? The threes don't get reps during season. They're over doing scout team stuff. But I get to take guys aside, guys that are either developing or haven't developed yet, and teach them the way, show them the way. And it's easy to get told, a million times by a coach how to do something. Yeah. When you have another perspective, someone like me that's been on some very good teams and played with some really good O-linemen and generally has a lot to say about the nuances of the game, right? It's extremely valuable. So I absolutely love that portion of it, being able to lead, bring guys along, but also hone in on my craft and take every opportunity I have out there on the football field to get better. Just those split-second reactions, shaving milliseconds off my game, getting my head across, getting my hands tight, staying low pad level, moving my feet, getting my second step in the ground. Those little things. So it's great, and I really appreciate Coach Norvell. He's added a different approach that I've ever seen to spring football. When I was up north, that school up there, spring football, it tended to beat down guys a lot, right? It was a million reps, right? Very high speed. Guys were all strung out, and it was relatively ineffective at times, right? You're just beating your head against a wall. You knew exactly what was going to happen the next practice. Once you got a week through the spring football, 3 practices, whatever it was, you knew what was going to happen the next week, and the next week, and the next week, and then spring football's over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Coach Norvell's kept me on my toes. Like, I don't know what came up with all this situational football, but we've been playing a lot of situational football. And instead of doing those team periods where you all line up on the 40-yard line and run through 5 plays, switch the groups, run through 5 plays, switch your groups, we're going into situations, game-like situations we've been in during season, situations we might face, in this season. So it's absolutely great. I appreciate him keeping my toes. Like I said this before we started today, Coach Norvell is always trying to get us in the most adverse situation possible to see how we react, just as human beings, and trying to change that mindset and trying to get us to go deep, deep into a place, we haven't ever been before, or a place we don't like staying for a long time. So it's really nice and refreshing to be, part of a coach like that, a coach that can develop, a coach that's doing a great job and bring guys along, teaching them about situational football, and at the same time, developing those guys from the back and from the front, raising the floor of each position group and raising the standard here at Florida State.
Definitely. Tell me about Coach Atkins and his new role, Alex Atkins, Florida State offensive coordinator and offensive line coach.
And not too shabby. Say that twice.
Yeah. Have you noticed any difference, like from the difference from like fall camp Coach Atkins to spring practice O-line Atkins?
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say much has changed. What I'll say is he's the same guy day in, day out, comes in. He's extremely hardworking. And I know, and I can imagine the feelings that he felt, his first couple of years here at Florida State. Not in the background by any sense, but not necessarily in the role he wanted to be in, So it's great to see him in his full form. And again, he's done a great job so far. I could point to a few different, conversations that me and him have had, and me and different individuals on the field have had. But just generally, our offense is running a lot more efficiently. And that's saying a lot. We have some freak athletes here at Florida State. That's something we'll always be gifted for. But to have somebody that can bring us all together, inspire us all on the same message, and really just be everybody's, friend, but also, that coach you don't want to let down has been great. And specifically for the offensive line, seeing him in that type of position from a young guy that's in our position room really makes you wonder and have a lot more respect for him as an individual.
Awesome. Good to hear. You talked about bringing guys along. I know you're bringing the freshmen along, but there's also some transfers. Florida State has taken a bunch of transfers, 2 of them on the offensive line, Bless Harris and Caden Lyles. And you were a transfer as well. So how do you help those guys on a daily basis, or how do you interact with those guys? Do you help those guys? Do you interact with them?
Well, those are two of my really good friends now, right? Because when you transfer to a program, it's tough, coming straight from one offense to another, adjusting just from the scheme and just from the culture around university. So I've really tried my best to take those guys under my wing, show them the way, at least what I know of Florida State football, show them what the standard is, and show them where I want it to be. Both those guys have done a great job coming into a room. A great part about having transfers isn't only to elevate, like bring in a player and have him be better than a player you already had, right? Mm-hmm. But even if that person never plays a snap at Florida State, if that person comes in and challenges some people, he's going to elevate the floor, right? And that's what's happened. They're causing competition within our position group, causing a little bit more friction, just like what Coach Norvell likes, a little bit more friction, having guys, wake up in the morning, keeping the floor hot, and not necessarily letting guys get complacent. So it's been great seeing them come in, make friends, and everybody absolutely loves Bless and Caden. and do a great job, at least in the time we have in the facility, learning the plays, learning our offense, getting to know people on a personal basis, and really starting to come together. It's it's hard to come into a program and learn the offense, before spring ball, I can imagine, right? I had quite the challenge in front of me coming in about halfway through summer,
Yeah.
But it's really easy to show what kind of football player you are, right? And both those guys have been extremely aggressive, not taking smack from anybody, and showing it on the football field and proving their worth. So I'm very proud of the way they've come into our program, and I'm very excited to see how they develop. I'm excited to see them in a real competition, tomorrow morning when we get into our first scrimmage.
Yeah, I'm excited to hear more about that. But as far as the practices go, are we getting a little chippy yet? Are guys competing for dominance a little bit? Are some of the freshmen maybe trying to find their way as well? What's practice look like these days?
Yeah, that's my forte. I'm not necessarily a dirty player, but I think chippy is a pretty good way to describe me.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always trying to challenge people. And again, some people might perceive that as me being a jerk or something like that. But I like since I've developed my body so much, right, putting so much time into my game, I'm at the point now where practice is almost like high school football. And the fact that I get to push people around, I get to, poke people's buttons, and I get to actually get after guys. And that's something that I've earned. It's not necessarily something I've been given or something like that. I'm not just out there, swinging on dudes. I'm out there just trying to physically dominate every single play. And that's just who I am. I'm a prodder, right? And you need that kind of guy in a program. And what I've tried to do is inspire the other guys. It's very tough to play this position without being it's hard for me not to cuss right now. It's very, very hard not being a hard dude. You can't live a soft life and go out there and play games hard. That's just not who I am. That's not who I'll ever be. It's not how I was raised. And you have to have some deep-seated, emotional type stuff going on when you're going out there to play football. It's not, hey, I'm going to go block this guy. It's, hey, I'm going to go destroy this guy and take away, his power. And that's just what I'm going to do.
Hell yeah. You are the reason coaches say keep your head on a swivel.
Yeah, that's what you try to do. And you got to make sure guys, aren't just, going through the motions in practice. Right. Linebackers aren't just, walking down through the A gap.
Yeah.
And I'll try to take their head off. But I'm just I'm not going to take crap from anybody, but I really enjoy being that kind of guy, prodding the team. I'm in the position now where it's not going to be perceived as me just being, a bad guy. I'm not just it's hard. I can't cuss, but it's hard for me not to, have those reactions at practice because I'm allowed to at this point.
Right.
So
and
it's
also
great, being out there and being able to inspire the younger guys to play with a little more energy, a little more hate, and just try to get those riled up, get their piss hot,
Yeah. So the team is kind of like a wolf pack. Like, there's kind of like a hierarchy of the veterans and the rookies or the freshmen and stuff. Do sometimes the freshmen try to, maybe gain rank, or do the freshmen ever try to flex a little bit to try to make sure that it's known that they're there and you have to put them in their place a little bit?
It's tough, being an offensive lineman, and if someone could come in from high school and physically dominate guys at this level, like sure, they could work their way up the hierarchy real quick. They'll get some playing time, they'll have some cred behind their name.
But that's hard.
The biggest thing we've done here is Florida State, and what I've been able to hopefully accomplish and right now and going into the season, and by the time I leave, I hope it's standing, a hierarchy between the groups, and not only by age, right, how long you've been in the program or how long you've been playing football, but by what you do on the field,
by toughness. Right?
There aren't a lot of guys at Florida State, that haven't played in games that are high in that hierarchy. That's just how it is. We've had a lot of players play, but there's a select few that have played a major amount of games. All
right, so rank them 1 through 100 from toughest to softest. One thing. No,
yeah, I will. no, yeah. You can. If you walk into our room, you could probably tell. But hopefully by being that kind of player, being aggressive, trying to take dudes' heads off, and in a kind way, I'm not trying to hurt my teammates or anything like that. I'm just
within the rules,
trying to inspire people,
Yeah.
Because football isn't like
good job. It's not that kind of sport. It's there is a lot of control that has to be shown, once you get out there in a game type scenario. But in practice, day to day, and what inspires you, and the deep seated thoughts that you're thinking before you go out there to block people, it all impacts the way you end up blocking people. So if I can be a little bit chippy, shove some people after the play, put some guys in the third, take some linebackers' heads off, I hope that inspires younger guys and shows them what football should look like. Because it was shown to me that way. There's not a lot of sportsmanship, but at the end of the day, you have to be a sportsman in the way you do it, right? You pick that guy right back up as soon as you put him on the ground. As soon as you take that linebacker's head off, you reach down and give him your hand. But it's something you have to show all the time, because you can't practice soft and expect to play hard,
Right. You set the tone.
Yeah.
You let the guys know what time it is as soon as you get out.
Yeah, and it's really easy to say, but it's hard to live. And that's just what I try to do every day, because you can't just be one of those guys that every once in a while that hangs out in the back of the pack. You have to try to do it all the time. And hopefully no one ever catches you off guard,
What are you trying to accomplish tomorrow in the scrimmage? First scrimmage, by the way. Just the first.
Yeah,
scrimmage,
so I'm excited. I'm excited to see our offense, not necessarily being held back. Like I said, we play a lot of situational football, and we've had some very, very good practices, right? And haven't had many bad practices at this point, as an offense, as a team, But I'm excited to see us all come together. I'm excited to be able to run the ball down the field, throw the ball down the field. I'm just excited to see us dominate. And I have complete trust in the world in Jordan Travis, our wonderful group of backs, our receivers, our tight end group, our O-line. I just hope these guys wake up in the morning, their piss is hot, and ready to get after it. This is a game-like scenario. This isn't one of those scrimmages you hear at other schools like that school up north ran. This is a real game day type scenario. We're waking up in the morning. We're going to play a game. We're going to stretch. We're going to go through some small drills, and we're going to get directly into a scrimmage. So I'm excited for the opportunity. Again, I'm not taking any day for granted at this point. I've been through too much in my college career. I played 5 springs now, so I understand what spring football's for, and it's for getting better.
Well, word on the street is the offense has been possibly getting the better of the defense up until this point. But like I said, no scrimmages yet. So we'll see if we'll see what the streets are saying after.
We'll see, man. People are talking,
Yeah.
People are talking. Our defense is doing great. Our defense is doing absolutely wonderful. Our offense, though, has definitely done some very special things. Some things that I'm very excited to be a part of that offense for, And just to see Jordan Travis out there he's really, really happy right now. The way that he's been playing, the way that our team's been coming together, and he's been doing a great job, leading us along and just continuing the process and continuing the climb.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. Well, we will talk more about spring practice next week. How's school going?
School's going great. Just got through midterm exams. That's why we had to kind of take a week off there. During spring break, I was actually in classes still. So the MBA program never stops. So I was doing my classes and my assignments and meeting with groups, and actually did a midterm during spring break. So it's a very, very full spring break. It's been a very full week this week. That's why we haven't met till now. But things have been going relatively well, better than I could possibly ask for. My emphasis on education, specifically the MBA program here at Florida State, is at the highest standard, right behind football and how you organize your life. So I've been doing really good in that aspect of my life.
Good. Well, hopefully the rest of the semester goes well. Any shout outs before we get out of here?
Yeah. So big shout out to National Child Protection. I can't thank them enough. Again, they've afforded me a lot of wonderful things. CEO Wade Bontrager. They do a great job over there, light duty, semi, heavy duty trucks. If you do need insurance, please consider using National Child Protection. The second shout I got to give out to right now is to Good Sam and Camping World. Again, they've helped us sponsor this podcast and sponsor Big Man Big Heart, making wonderful donations, over $34,000 to Big Man Big Heart. We do different campaigns we're going to be running throughout the state of Florida, and some of my other ambassadors at different schools throughout the country. So Good Sam does some great work. They have these events. They're called Be Good, Do Good events. Where basically they do different initiatives that for different things throughout the year. So they have some wonderful Be Good, Do Good events. So please check out Good Sam. Look into those events. If you love the content we post here and the content I do through Big Man Big Heart and running initiatives for different individuals throughout the country, please check them out. So thank you again, and I appreciate it. Thank you, Josh, for your time tonight.
Yeah, man. Thank you. Get some rest. We'll be back next week to talk more spring practice. Go Noles.
Yes, sir. I look forward